What's up, guys? Today we are going to be doing a high fade with a half on top with the grain. He does want waves, so we're gonna go in the direction of the waves. I start by combing the hair in the direction of the waves, making sure that everything is brushed. Alright, cool, we got the half, and we're actually gonna close it just a little bit because he does like it short. I see the way that the hair is growing, I see the way that the waves want to lay, so I'm going that way. Same process right here. I keep going down with the waves, reading the wave, riding the wave with my clipper. Essentially, it's called Batiste. And what this is this is a dry shampoo. So you can buy this on Amazon. I bought 3 packs on Amazon, I think, for like 20 bucks. And then you just spray it all over the sides where you're gonna do the fade. It is a little bit cold, so just tell your client that it's gonna be a little bit cold. You're just combing down, making sure that it's all good and set. And what this is gonna do, it basically mimics shampooing your hair. Obviously, I have a home studio, so I don't have the little tub where you put in the people to shampoo their hair like at salons. I don't have none of that, so that's my best bet. Okay, so like I said, this is gonna be a high fade tutorial. You can even start placing it in the middle, the primary guideline. You want to form it pretty high up. We're not really dropping this one since it is a high fade, and it's rare that I do these because most of the time whenever I get someone in the chair, they mainly ask for a mid fade. It's very rare when I get a high fade, but I still have fun doing them. Okay, so now we're gonna do the second guideline with the lever open right above the one we just did. You'll see me using my comb more frequently. Black people obviously have different textured hair, and to have a clear visual of what you're working with, you're gonna have to be brushing more frequently, than when you're doing Mexican hair or white people hair. So just have a brush or a comb. In this case, I have a brush, and just frequently brush every time you working with it. Okay, perfect. Now that we have a nice and clean guideline, then we're going to go ahead and blend it in. The way we're going to do that is first we're going to hit it halfway in that guideline with the lever halfway closed, using our corners a lot. And then we're going to open it a little bit and then hit it up higher in the guideline using the corners again. And then we're going to close it fully all the way and just hit the bottom of that guideline, and then it should be blended in. Halfway in, using the corners of the blade a lot and then flicking out around corners. Okay, cool. Now we open it up a bit and we hit it up higher in the guideline. Hitting up higher, just using the corners at this point. We're not using the full blade. Hitting the top of the guideline. All around. It's still open. Hitting it at the top of the guideline. Okay, cool. Now we close it all the way in. We fully close it and we just hit the bottom. I open it up some more. And as I go lower in the guideline, I close it. So I'm looking for those little dark spots or any little lines, and I'm either opening or closing it, depending how high up in the guideline that little dark spot is. So yeah, it is the same process for the next guidelines. Same thing. It's a pretty simple process, but I just want to emphasize that you guys take your time, and you look for those dark spots and make sure that everything is nice and blended. And if you need to polish it, you can work your way back down and polish it. Okay, right there what I'm aiming at is a little area where the hair actually grows forward. So what I'm going to do is I need to turn the clipper, different angle. So I just go from this angle and I blend it that way. Sometimes you'll have clients that have weird patterns where the hair grows like that. Just kind of counter that by going at a different angle with the clipper and just blend it in that way. Okay, next guideline, exact same process with a half guard. Open, I close it just a little bit. Taking my time to make sure that it's nice, clean, and neat. Brushing down. Okay, cool. Now we start to blend. We close it halfway, and then we hit it halfway in the guideline. Brushing as I go. Make sure that I have a clear visual of what I'm working with. Working my way around the head. Halfway in that guideline, because what we're doing right now is we're making that guideline weaker. We're softening it up so that it slowly starts to fade in. And then now I closed it fully and I'm hitting the bottom. It doesn't knock it out. So what I do is I take it off. I work my way back down to just a blade. I close the lever just a little bit. It's mainly open right now. And then using my corners, I'm just, hitting it, polishing that little fade. So what I'm doing right now is, I'm just hitting it with the corners, 1 2 1 2 1 2, blending it in. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's a little technique that I use. Now I put the half guard back on, just to be on the safe side. I don't want to go that high up in the guideline with just a blade. I'm looking for those faint little dark spots that are still there, or those faint little lines that you can see. Now we grab the 1.5 guard and we put our lever open. Just close it just a tiny bit. We're hitting the parietal ridge area of the head. Basically what we're doing is we're softening this whole area up, and at the same time blending it in with the top of the hair. Eventually it's gonna meet with the number 1 clip. As I get closer to the top, and that way it just like it transitions into the rest of the hair. Okay, now we close the lever all the way. We hit it right there in the same spot, the parietal ridge area, just a little bit lower. That way, we keep the whole concept of clean transitions from skin to stubble to the rest of the fade. Okay, perfect. And just like that, it's ready to start fading with the number 1, because we already softened up that area. It's just gonna make fading easier, and it's gonna give us a better visual of what we're working with. So yeah, we start with the lever open and we're just kind of blending everything in. We're not really creating a guideline at this point, just because it's clear that everything is starting to blend in nicely. We just use our corners, hit it first with the lever open, working that fade in, that little area right there. Try to keep your areas consistent where you guys go around. That's gonna help with a clean transition at the end. We're still working our way into the fade, opening and closing the lever as we see. If we see that it's not cutting no more, then we close the lever, ever so slightly. As I go higher, I open it. As I go lower, I close it, trying to knock out that line, that last line that we see. So just take your time in this process. You can always switch to your Endless Masters and use that instead of the Magics. Just because the Masters allows you to hear if it's cutting or not, and that kind of guides you as to close the lever or open the lever. Right now, I'm still using my number 1, using it to the point where it doesn't hit no more, and to the point where I can't blend with it no more. And then after that, that's where I switch to my half guard and I work my way back down, like I said. Any final little dark spots that I see. So I close it halfway. I begin to hit those little spots. Finalizing the transition, getting it to the point to look, perfect, almost perfect like. Now I fully closed it, and hitting the very bottom, being careful to keep the transition clean, and just keep the fade looking proper. Okay, cool. We're about done with the transition. Right here, we obviously have a dark spot. So we go back with the number 1 clip, and we work our way in. First with the lever open, and then gradually closing the lever. It's a quick fix, real simple. Dispersing everything into place. That's essentially what we're doing. We're trying to disperse and make sure that everything looks proper. Sometimes it helps to look away from the fade, stare at something else for a little bit, because over time your eyes will be concentrated so much on blending, and sometimes you won't even see the dark spots no more. So just look away and then look back at your haircut, and you'll see what you need to hit. Right there, I obviously have my 1.5 guard. I'm just doing the final touch-ups. A faint little dark spot right there, and we're gonna go ahead and fade it out with the 1/2 guard. Okay, cool. Right now I'm just I'm going further into detail, polishing this fade out, using a lot of lever play. Essentially what lever play is, if a dark spot isn't hitting when you have it open, you slightly close it some more until it hits. If it's hitting too much, open it. Just go about it that way. This is a little tip that I want to give you guys. See how I'm dimming the light and I put it back on bright? The reason why I dim the light on the fade, you can see the dark spots easier. So always put a dim light when you feel like you're done with your fade, so that you can really tell if it's fully blended. We can start to edge up the client. We start on the sides first. This is a point where we start our 3-point blending technique. Right above the bulk, we create a very faint guideline, and we bring a little bit more room down right there, so that it's able to meet perfectly with a shaver later on. In the second point, you go ahead and blend that. You try to blend that little faint guideline out with the same trimmer, strictly the corners in this part, and you're just flicking out, just real quick with the corners, just being real careful. Imagine that the skin is lava, and that the blade or the trimmer is your feet, and you're just skipping through real quick, just trying to blend that, disperse that into the rest of the fade. We go in with just a blade, and we do a little bit of lever play just to hit those little dark spots that we see. That little touch should give it a finishing point. And then we comb it down. That way there won't be any little hairs. Now that everything is in place, we can start to do the lineup. Everything is nice and situated. We always want to look at the client from the front, and we start in the center, and then we slowly make our way to the sides of the lineup. Work our way to the sides, and just make sure that you keep everything nice and leveled. You make sure that the lineup is as symmetrical as it can be without pushing him. Sometimes it's necessary to push a client back just a little bit in order to get a lineup in. Yeah, just do your best to try to keep it natural. I know it's hard sometimes, but we slowly build our way. How you prepare it, and also the kind of trimmer that you use. That's the key to having sharp edge ups. That's going to definitely come to your advantage. We're going to make it look even more perfect by giving it more contrast. So we place our card or business card on the side of the edge up, and we start pumping. Nice and natural. We're not trying to go so hard on that. Then use a little bit of hairspray and just spray that in the hairline. And then we grab our blow dryer and we set that and situate that in so that we can give it a finishing touch with our trimmer. To better lay the hair on top flat is grab your little foil shaver and go ahead and just glide, starting from the back and working your way towards the front. Just quick little movements. You're essentially just laying it flat, riding the wave. And right here I'm using these scissors that I bought online. If you guys need the link for these scissors, actually a friend gave me these scissors as a gift. He bought them online. If you guys need the link, I'll go ahead and grab that from my friend and just hook you guys up with these scissors. And then the obvious thing to do right here, you just get rid of the bulk. Just go over with any clipper. At least I can go down with any clipper and then shave it with my Bronze Series 9, as you can see right there, shaving right through. Oh, and it also has this little tool right there in the back that you can flip up, and it's actually what it is, it's like a little trimmer. It is a weak, cheap little trimmer, but if you miss any hairs, you can just whip that out real quick, and then go over those little hairs. And then this is the finished product. Just going through with the whole process, being patient and having an eye for detail.